heavy rain did not stop people from coming out for a protest against flock cameras in downtown Fargo this Friday. It was very interesting. Heavy rain, completely blanketed the area, but organizers and participants still gathered despite the weather to voice their concerns about surveillance and privacy tied to the camera technology. Now, there's a lot of conversations. I've had many conversations along the lines of, well, listen, I'm not a criminal, so why would I mind the flock cameras being brought in? Because many of these flock cameras, unfortunately, many of them have been used to identify people going home. They've been heading out to wherever it is if they believe that your car has been tied to a crime, and they've gotten it wrong many times. You can have somebody knocking on your door in a matter of a few days saying, hey, we have evidence of you being a porch pirate, come fess up, and they can take you into custody. There are people that are being wrongly flagged for crimes they never committed. This is happening often. Unfortunately, often enough to where it's been of note. And listen, when you're a surveillance company that's claiming to make more people safe, and that's exactly why they put out the stories. They want you to hear stories where, hey, we found this one girl, we found this 8-year-old or whatever, she was kidnapped by a pedophile. Now, granted, we do, we have the same technology, but we still let a lot of people go missing, and those people end up on our altars and whatnot. But just focus on the idea that we're catching most of these guys. Trust us. We're the same people that are handling the Epstein files situation. We're the same people that are that you trust with your local, state and federal government. Trust us, please. Understand that we would never use this to create any sort of social credit system. We would never use this in order to, actually be able to grade people on their driving performance. We would never use this to ticket people because, it would require a perfect driver system. We would never have any of that. Don't think about it at all about what we could use this for in the future. Think about the now, and that means that we could save a little girl who, she'll be 1 out of 10, you know what I mean? But 9 of those 10 will end up, going into the pedophile rings that we're helping build. But does it matter? It does not matter.
The heavy rain did not stop people from coming out for a protest against flock cameras on Friday. People took to the corners of flock camera intersections throughout the metro to make their voices heard. One of the local organizations who helped put on the protest is the Faith and Conviction Coalition. Member concerns with automated license plate readers include Fourth Amendment violations.
Yeah, so just worry about the use of the flock in unjustified situations. Mainly concerned about the access. Who has access to the flock data?
College students.
That's a lot of the things that many people don't worry about. Many people go, well, who cares? If you're not a criminal, why would you worry about it? Because many people are able to access the data of where you go, where you drive all over the place, and they go, I don't have anything to hide. I just go to the park. I just go, I buy my matcha at Starbucks. I don't have anything to hide. You are the retard. You are the example of why all of these data companies, these data brokers are able to exist. You're the reason. You are the reason that people are why would I need a VPN? Why would I need anything in order to protect my data? Why would I need anything like that? Why would I need you essentially are the person who's saying, I have an open life, therefore everybody else should be just as open and just as willing to be scammed over as I am. I should be, listen, I have no inner, desire to protect myself. Everybody else should have that same non-inner desire. Everybody else should be unthinking and unquestioning just like me. That is a very ridiculous sentiment in my personal view.
Wald shared his thoughts on the cameras. He says people who misuse the technology should be put behind bars. He did not take part in Friday's protest.
They can use them for good. It's really the people in charge that are looking at the cameras, making sure they're using it to investigate criminals and not just stalking people and what they can use for the information.
That's the thing, is most of these are being used to stalk people. Most of these are being used as the Palantir from Lord of the Rings, where any person who has this flock data can put their hand over it, and then Sauron will speak to them and tell them wherever this person is and their daily schedule. You will be able to know everything about a person and their movements. How that does not horrify you or how that does not make you feel sick inside, you are the types, unfortunately, that should have, I hope the Muslims stop throwing gays off a roof and start throwing people like you.
He doesn't see much use for them in Fargo.
It's more for LA, the bigger time crime, where Fargo, North Dakota, it's a smaller city and state.
Oh, Fargo's still got crime. Don't get me wrong. They still have crime. I just feel like I feel like the police should be forced to do their fucking job rather than rely on a complete Big Brother digital surveillance state that breaks everybody's Fourth Amendment. Rather than that, I'm saying have the police do their fucking job.
I don't for him in Fargo. But
While Walt hopes the cameras are used for good intentions, those protesting had other thoughts.
Well, we want to see restrictions on the use of the data, but who has access to it? I mean, restricted only to the police department. It's not being shared across jurisdictions to other
Even then, the police departments themselves will misuse the data because they can't be trusted.
police departments without approval. So that's one thing we're looking at is approval and access and also retention.
In Fargo, Sydney Zacks,
Valley News Live. Ladies and gentlemen, fun. If, you know what, if you want the Big Brother surveillance state, issue it in. That's not my problem, that's yours. That will be your problem when you're living under the digital surveillance state. I'm gonna find somewhere off the grid. I'm gonna live listen, I have a family member who is very much so, he's been afraid, he's had no social media. He's been telling me for years, he's been going, you gotta get off of that shit. You gotta make sure that it's you're off the grid. You are unknown to this world. You can disappear like a ninja. He lives out, you know what I mean? He's got some nice property out in the woods, out in the far lands, you know what I mean? Far from civilization. He's got it nice set up, and he's set for life, is what I mean. Is that this guy, he will be all right. He's got enough money to where he can keep the power moving. He can keep the water systems taken care of. He can drain the septic tank every now and then. That's what I assume that he uses or whatever. But he's completely out on his own, and that's the move. Is what I'm telling you, is that off the grid is the kind of the move right now. I'm not telling everybody they have to go full hermit style. They don't have social media, don't have Facebook, don't have anything like that. I'm saying be careful what information you're sharing. Don't be a guitard. Don't be the individual who's saying, this is my kid. They're going to first grade. Their name's Jeremy, but they respond to this nickname. And then this is their daily schedule. This is what they're doing. This is they're going to Miss Flint's class or whatever. It's shut the fuck up. You want a pedophile to see that? Whatever. This is a pedophile listing. I hated when parents were into that for a while, when they were doing the hold the chalkboard up with all of your child's details. What the fuck are you doing? Where's the protective instinct? Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of protective instinct, I know many of us individuals, we don't want the criminals to get away with their crimes. We don't want the people who are committing assault. We don't want the people who are out there just beating people up for gang cred and whatever. We don't want them out on the streets. So maybe flock camera users, maybe this flock camera system, by the way, no, this wasn't even a flock camera. Maybe this was a security camera, vintage, by the way. I'm fine with security cameras because it's a private business, and you know what, they have the right to put up a protection system if they want. But a public area, and what I think we're starting to tread into some dangerous territories in my personal view, but whatever. I think if Flock really wants to prove how good they are, they should find the person who punched actor Steve Buscemi while he was walking around in New York City. Now listen, Steve Buscemi, if you're unfamiliar with him, Fargo is an incredible film, probably the best one that he's been in. Listen, he's kind of a character actor. He's very talented at what he does, but I would still, maybe it's because I'm from the area. I saw it when I was a kid. I really enjoyed it. It's still one of my favorite movies. Top 10, easily top 10, maybe top 5. But whatever. I feel horrific about this. He has been punched out, much like, do you guys remember Rick Moranis had this happen to him? Why is it always old white men with glasses? I better stay the fuck out of New York City when I get past the age of 60.
The video shows actor Steve Buscemi looking at his phone as he walked south on 3rd Avenue last Wednesday before noon. The 66-year-old looks up to greet someone, and then moments later, just after crossing East 27th Street, is when police say Buscemi was punched by this man unprovoked.
Oh, well, okay. Folks, I want to play a game real quick. One that I think you're going to have a great time if you want to play alongside with me. Let's have our first edition of The Race is Right. That's right, folks. The Race is Right. I'm going to give you 3 descriptions, and you are going to try to tell me what race this man is. Number 1. I will describe their attire. Surveillance photos released by the NYPD show he was wearing a bright blue short-sleeve t-shirt, dark/black sweatpants or jogging pants, a dark baseball cap, and white sneakers. Now, I will describe number 2, his build. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the surveillance footage, he was described as having a medium to stocky build. Face. The man was revealed in photos to have a, middle-aged face with facial hair, specifically a graying beard and mustache. Now, lock in your answers, ladies and gentlemen. His race is African American. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for playing. I've had a wonderful time. Please come back for another edition of The Race is Right. Folks, allow them to continue.
The video also shows the suspect moments before the attack, walking north on 3rd Avenue, appearing to say something to himself.
He's talking to himself. He's like, don't stop it, found it down. He's kicking like his hand to the side, and he's just gang motioning.
To say something to himself. Police say Buscemi was taken to Bellevue Hospital for bruising, swelling, and bleeding to his left eye. A rep told us he is okay and appreciates everyone's well wishes, though incredibly sad for everyone that this has happened to while also walking the streets of New York.
Okay, so he feels bad about the idea that, people, they don't feel comfy. They can't walk around the streets of New York. They can't walk around Central Park anymore like it's Jesse. You can't take kids to the park. They're going to get abducted, and then they're going to end up, let's be honest. Most people, they're like, I don't want my kid to end up in the back of a van. No, nowadays you worry about your kid ending up, in a special room that a billionaire had constructed to be soundproof. That's where most of us worry about our kids ending up. Folks,